Well, hello, my friends. Today is July 1st, and I thought, let's do a month ahead reading for July for the collective. But first, we're going to talk about a few things. Today, which is July 1st, Neptune is stationing retrograde, and Saturn stationed retrograde last week. So the further the planet is out, the more that it's considered to be a collective energy. So these are going to affect the collective, right? Saturn is the planet of time and karma, and Neptune is the planet of dreams, spirituality, sometimes delusions. But, I think delusion is a word that has been used against us. Excuse me, Juniper. She's enjoying her dog toy. So anyways, we're going to get into it. But first, I am going to partake in some ceremonial hape. I do have a new curape. It's beautiful. It's got clear quartz right here, and it is a double nostril, so I can at the same time, which one side's feminine, one side's masculine. I prefer to take both at the same time. And let's see here. We've got some new hape. We've got the new Kini tribe, which is the Ojo de Jaguar. Ears of the Jaguar. Ojo means ears. So I think, or nose. Odejas' ears. Ojos are the eyes. So the eyes of the Jaguar. We have beautiful thoughts. Yeah, I think we're going to go with beautiful thoughts. So let's. Hey. Shh. I need like a little spoon, a little ceremonial spoon. Does burn a little bit. Oh, that feels really nice. I'm just going to ask everybody to bring their energy within for a minute. Let's start with a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And at this time, I call upon my spirit guides, angels, archangels, ascended masters, ancestors, and past loved ones, only those of the highest vibration of love and light, here guiding me as a helper to guide others through these upgrades, through these timeline shifts, through these incredible times that we're living in. I ask that the messages for July come in clearly. Any messages of advice, guidance for myself and the collective. I say these things in the name of our Holy Mother, Sophia. Amen. Ooh, okay. So I did pull the card for Saturn and the card for Neptune out just to kind of anchor us in here. So again, with Saturn retrograde, I already kind of talked about that last week a little bit. In True Sidereal, which is the astrology that I practice, it will be transiting through, Saturn will be transiting through Aquarius, and Pisces will be transiting through the sign that it rules, which is Pisces. Neptune will be, sorry, I don't think I said that wrong. Saturn will be transiting through Aquarius. Neptune will be transiting through Pisces. Now, Saturn used to co-rule Aquarius. Saturn is known for ruling Capricorn now, which it does, but it used to co-rule Saturn with the 7 original planets before the outer planets of Uranus and Pluto were discovered. So just kind of sitting in with this energy for a minute. I'm going to start out with an oracle and just ask for overall energy. Ecstasy. So ecstasy seems like it might be the reward because it's coming in upright, where we have a reverse card of modern. How can you live in this modern world and not be of this modern world? A lot of you have been made to feel guilty and shameful about ecstasy. A lot of us. I know that I was raised in the Mormon or LDS church, and definitely as a woman carried a lot of shame and a lot of trauma surrounding my body, and it being a vessel for ecstasy, right? Well, look at this bird flying freely, doesn't care, doesn't have any judgment of what is ecstasy. And I think we do tend to link that word in with sexuality, and I think it's always a good time to remind we as women, but all the collective, as ecstasy can mean so much more than that, but that sexuality is sacred. In my opinion, should be sacred. Sorry, I'm still trying to sit with this hape a little bit. So spreading your wings to fly, where can you open up and make some room to invite the energy of ecstasy into your life this month in July? I know for me, I've been taking my paddleboard out. It's just the most glorious feeling of freedom that I get when I'm out on the water in nature, and usually with my microdose, which is amazing. And I definitely feel the energy of ecstasy there. But the energy of the modern world is there, sometimes trying to block us, but only if we let it, right? So let's kind of just keep those there to anchor us in. Now we'll get in with the tarot for July. For the collective. What energy with this modern conveniences, technology, that's what's coming through, especially with the Saturn retrograde and Aquarius energy being Aquarius. The energy of Aquarius rules over things like groups, friendships, and things like technology, including the internet, which is how we're connecting right now. So it's not all bad, right? We have to remember that it's not all bad. In what ways as a collective what do we need to know about this modern energy that seems to be blocked? And we just got the Four of Wands, and I got the Four of Pentacles in my own personal reading for July. Four of Wands, which is a celebratory energy. So again, it's asking us, kind of like what the ecstasy energy is, to celebrate. Some of you may have weddings this month to go to. Four of Wands does give a lot of wedding energy. If you have ever seen the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card of the Four of Wands, it's a couple, the lovers, standing under the huppah that they just were married under, which is like the wedding arch. This is a modern version of that, which we did just get the modern energy, right? It doesn't have to be that. You don't have to be married. You don't need to be in a relationship to experience ecstasy. But I do think that you should be very particular with who you are inviting into your space, whether that be through sacred sexuality or through any other type of experience. You share this energy discriminately. You don't want to just be opening up to anybody to share that energy with, okay? That's not the Four of Wands at all. That's the Six of Wands. How interesting. I literally seen a 4, but it's the Six of Wands, which should be about, Six of Wands is more of a card of, 6 energy is moving us forward. 5 energies when we get kind of stuck. 6 energy is we're picking up momentum again. We're starting to move again. So there's an energy of movement here. But the energies of the Four of Wands must have come through for a reason, right? Purging and purging a lot. I've been clearing out closets. That was really my focus of June, was making space, making space, making space. So now, what are we going to use that space for? In July, it's time to get moving again. Even though we've got retrograde energy coming in, which does ask us to slow down a little bit. Yeah, 8 of Wands. So lots and lots and lots of energy coming forward this month, even with these retrograde planets. Again, they're more the outer planets. We don't have Mercury, which is considered more of a personal planet. That's not going retrograde until August. But we will have the pre-shadow energy of that coming through in a couple of weeks. So using these first 2 weeks of July for sure to get things done, make things happen, get set up so that when Mercury goes retrograde, because the Saturn and Neptune retrogrades are going to last till the end of the year. So they're here for a while. They're here for a while. 8 of Wands, 6 of Wands. So a lot of action, a lot of fire. What else do we have for the collective? Ecstasy, celebration, Saturn, truth, Neptune, sacrifice. Have you been sacrificing your own truth? Where have you been sacrificing your own truth? Eight of Swords, reverse. So it's time to free yourself from that prison of holding back your own voice. It is time to speak up. It is time to take action. It is no longer time to sit back and play small. Eight of Swords reverse, because, you know, Eight of Swords is the energy of kind of a self-imposed prison. You may feel trapped, but if you were just to look down and realize that you could just step out of those swords, again, if you've seen the traditional image of the Eight of Swords, it's a self-imposed prison because swords represent our thoughts and our words. So to free yourself, we need to speak that truth, Saturn truth. Especially more with the Aquarius, Saturn and Aquarius. Aquarius is that air element. And so definitely working with communication here. Every time I go to do a collective read, I always just stop myself and I don't know what it is. Most of my readings are personal readings for people who ask very specific questions. And I can tell that for me, the Eight of Swords is maybe I've trapped myself in that style of reading. And I want to free myself from that, speak more freely, speak my truth, allow things to flow instead of having things be so controlled, which Saturn really is a planet of boundaries and limitations. So when a planet goes retrograde, you could choose to look at that as freeing you from those limitations, freeing you from that boundary, right? Interesting. Yeah, I like that. That feels really good, actually. I'm going to pull some energy here from the Divine Masters and just see maybe what guides want to come through here this month for July for the collective. What guides can we work with to free ourselves from this limiting prison, to be able to open up, speak the truth, stop sacrificing our own voice, stop sacrificing our own opinions and our own ideals, and live in that energy of ecstasy, working with the modern world, not having the world control us, but working with it, using the internet to connect with the collective. What guides want to come forward? Brigitte. She was in reverse. So Brigitte's a guide that comes in the springtime. I'm trying to think what it is. The spring equinox, which is what is that sabbat called? What is the spring sabbat called? What is the spring sabbat called that the goddess Brigitte works with? Imbolc. So because this energy was reversed, I feel like this is saying there could have been some manifestations or some goals or themes around Imbolc, which would have been, again, in the spring, that either are not cleared, that are wanting your attention still, which is the inner fire. Let your passions lead you to your purpose. So again, we have a lot of really fiery energy here, which, the world is going to tell you that we're right now in Cancer season, but again, that's Western tropical, where if you really look and see where the sun is right now, it's actually in Gemini. And I do think that is, I've talked about this a lot, one of the ways that the powers that be, control time is they tell us that we're in Cancer season when really we're not in Cancer season. So we're going to be in Gemini, then we'll be moving into Cancer at the middle of the month. And that's when you're going to be told we're moving into Leo, but really we're not in Leo until August. So some of you may still have some things to wrap up there that were focuses from the spring equinox in bulk. Any other teachers, ascended masters? For the collective. It's also really unusual for me because I do all my readings at my desk. So even just sitting here, everything is different. And there's a sense of kind of panic that I'm feeling right now. Like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know that I know what I'm talking about. I've been a reader for over 6 years full time. I've done over 30,000 readings, and yet take me outside of my normal office setting, and all of a sudden I get into my head, I get into this Eight of Swords energy where I begin to doubt myself, and it's time for something new. It's time for new scenery. It's time for new thoughts and new beliefs. And Joan of Arc is here in the upright. Sacred activist, do not be afraid, stand up for your beliefs. So that is the even more of this, speaking your truth and, setting yourself free, not being afraid. Joan of Arc is a bad biatch in a good way, right? She is not to be effed with. She has her sword of truth. Again, swords in the tarot represent communication. Communication starts with the stories that you tell yourself. You don't need to be worried about the communication you have with others until you have the communication with yourself locked in. What is your inner dialogue? What are the limiting beliefs that you've been telling yourself? that is where the communication really needs to begin. That is where the truth, that is where Saturn retrograde is coming in to say, you know, let's rethink some of the stories that you've been telling yourself. Brigitte, oh no, Mother Mary came as well. Mother Mary, miraculous encounter, divine experiences. Do not be afraid of being powerful. You can be powerful and feminine. You can be powerful and loving and nurturing. That's really the energy of Saturn. I think the Saturn energy, which I totally identify with because most of my life I was living as a Capricorn before I discovered true sidereal, and some of it fit. A lot of it didn't, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but feels kind of like a strict grandfather energy. Older than a mother or father, definitely feels more like a grandparent. And yes, they're strict, but they really do know what's best, and they're trying to protect you from yourself, right? Let's go into the golden future. The solar flares, holy moly, you guys. I mean, talk about upgrades, talk about light. We are being inundated with such large amounts of light. Some of that can be uncomfortable, just like me leaving my office and coming to sit under this beautiful pyramid. Why would that be scary? Well, because it's not my familiar setting, okay? Food, choose locally grown organic produce. And now that should be a lot easier for us. I live in Utah, so we're just going to be, you know, this farmer's market started a couple weeks ago, but really it's the produce isn't going to be starting to come for the next couple of weeks. We're going to finally start to see that locally grown produce. And I'm sure that so many of you have seen some just absolutely crazy videos on the internet of plastic watermelons and blueberries and strawberries and food that people are buying as organic, and, you know, trying to feed for their children and finding out that they're fake. Growing food and getting food from your neighbors to nourish your body. Summertime is a great time to do like a fruit or vegetable cleanse, a juice cleanse, to try to take some of that energy and emphasis off of your body's need to digest. So to give your digestion a break with better food. But food also makes me think of, what are you consuming? We consume more than food. We consume movies, music, conversations, anything that you're participating in, you're consuming that. So you want to make sure that whatever you're consuming with your eyes, with your ears, with your mouth, make sure that it is high vibrational. Make sure that it is worthy of consumption, right? Three cards, please, for the collective for July. 3 cards, please, for the collective for July. And I'm just telling myself, it's okay, Rhiannon. It's okay. It's okay to leave what you knew. 1, 2, 3. It's okay to leave behind what you knew. Start new habits, start new stories. 6 of coins. I keep seeing the numbers differently. 6 of coins, which again, so we've got 2 6s. We've got the 6 of wands. Now we've got the 6 of pentacles. This is a picture of Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance and compassion also. And 6 energy, again, is about moving forward. So where can you give somebody else a helping hand? Being generous, donating. Maybe you have a garden and you're going to have a bountiful amount of tomatoes coming in. Can you offer those to someone else? 2 of Swords reverse and the Ace of Pentacles reverse. So there's a decision that you've been going back and forth on as far as maybe a way to start bringing in new income with this Ace of Pentacles reverse. And it's saying before you make a decision on that, you want to clear whatever that blockage is with the Six of Pentacles. Again, Six of Pentacles being a card of generosity and giving. So focus on your giving. You may have a little bit of an abundance block. All of us have lived in, more abundance than most here in the United States. Has the economy gotten worse or harder? We're told that, but we're still very, very, very blessed. So sometimes we need to just acknowledge what it is that we have and how good we have it. And we need to be more giving and more generous. And a lot of us have walked away from organized religions, and that's great. But part of what organized religions are really good at is collecting that tithing. And if you're not part of a organized religion, then you may not be on a regular schedule of tithing or giving. Basically, tithing is, giving 10% of your income regularly over to this church. Well, great, we've left the church, but now it can be very easy to just negate that part of your life, and you are not giving or donating as much as you should. So there is a decision to be made with this Two of Swords reverse about new ways to make money or new ways to bring in income, but you need to not be focusing on that unless you are making sure that you have been generous and you have been giving and you have pity is not the word I want to use, but taken sympathy or had empathy for somebody that has less. So I know for me, I just went through and donated thousands and thousands of dollars worth of clothes, and I still have more clothes to donate. And I don't just go donate them to like Goodwill, or here where I live, it's called the Deseret Industries, because they just sell that to people for more money than they should be. So I actually like to give it to people. I like to give to people. I could have a yard sale. I could sell it, sure. Or I can trust the energetic exchange when I give that to somebody in need, that it's not only about what they're going to be receiving, but it's about the karma, the way that it opens myself up for abundance. And I know for sure I have seen that in my life. So yeah, rather than focusing on where you're going to get more money, focus on what do you have an abundance of already. And it might not be money. It might be a closet full of clothes. It might be a garden full of tomatoes. I guarantee you, if you really look and see and take a my words are not finding me right now. Take stock, take inventory of your life. There is something where you have a lot, and it may be that you have a lot of time and freedom, and maybe you could offer babysitting for somebody who can't afford that right now because it's summer and people have kids off. If you look, there is something that you have a lot of. It's time to share that. It's time to share that in July, okay? With your community. Opening up the throat chakra. Opening up the throat chakra. Even when you're scared, even when you think your voice isn't worthy, it is. Even when you want to hit stop and delete, you share your message with the world. So for those of you guys who made it this far in, thank you. Because the amount of times I already wanted to get up and stop and tell myself, it doesn't matter. I know that it does matter to somebody. I know that somebody needed to hear that message. And maybe even if that person is me, maybe the only person that needed that message was just me to let myself be free. Oh, outside of the boundaries of our protection of our little bubble. Nature. Okay, and it was in reverse, so there's definitely more room to get outside. I know it's hot. I know that it's hot, but we've got to get outside. Tune into the natural world. Tune into the natural world. Yeah, you guys. 8 of Wands, 6 of Wands. Eight of Swords reverse, 2 of Swords reverse, Ace of Pentacles reverse. Saturn and Neptune. Sharing your abundance. And I have an abundance of cards. I have an abundance of knowledge. And I've said this before. I feel like one of my biggest, what is it called? Blockages is I assume that everybody knows what I know, and I don't want to be redundant. I don't want to just speak about what everybody else speaks about, but I know that the way that I deliver a message is going to be different than someone else. And, you know, my message matters. There's so many people that are just thirsty for the knowledge that I have, and I stop myself all the time. Why? Well, for one, getting paid for it. I get paid for it. So I have now been like, well, you know, if I'm not getting paid for my reading, I'm going to withhold my knowledge. Well, that's greedy, right? It's not greedy. It is. It's greedy. Okay, this is the story in my head right now. Is this message just for me? So should I have just filmed this just for me? Is this reading just for me? The High Priestess and the 6 of Swords. Yes, this was just for me. Also, I'm used to seeing myself when I do a reading. Like, I'm usually looking at myself or looking at a client. And so right now, just looking at this phone, I feel very disconnected. And what that tells me is, like, we do need community. We do need that. I need another set of eyes to look at. I need my own eyes, or I need someone else's eyes. Just staring into a phone on a tripod does not make me feel connected. And when I don't feel connected, it's harder to connect to the energy, right? It feels messy. But I feel like it's such a cop-out if I don't post this reading. But I just asked if it was for me, and it said, yes, it is for me. But does that mean that I don't post it? One card, yes or no. If the card's upright, it's a yes. If the card's reversed, it's no. Is this reading to be posted publicly? One card, yes or no. Do I post this publicly? The Devil, upright. The Ace of Cups, upright. And the 3 of Wands, upright. Yes. Get out of my own head. Get out of my own head. You know, if somebody like me can stop myself or almost stop myself from delivering the messages, I mean, think about how hard it is going to be for you to align with this Saturn retrograde energy and allow your truth to come in, to free yourself from this 8 of Swords and allow your truth to come in, to pick up your sword, which again, what is the sword? The sword is the truth and the justice. You can't do that if I stay small. I mean, you can, but like, that's what I'm here to do, is to be an example, to use my own sword of truth and justice with compassion, Mother Mary. The Brigitte energy, again, reverse. I didn't even do anything for Imbolc. So for me personally, maybe that's what it was, to get back to my rituals, to get back to my ceremonies. I really haven't done ritual for a very long time, if I'm being honest. The manifestations have been coming so quickly with the light, with the amount of light that's coming in, and that's amazing. But there is an importance or a sacredness to ritual. So for some of you, maybe this is a message to get back to the basics. Get back to the basics with the inner fire. This reading does feel a lot personal to me, but I'm trying to say it in ways that you guys will get value. When I started reading, I started reading with just oracle cards, no tarot, and they were all collective readings. They were not yes or no questions. But then when I started working on the psychic hotlines and I began only really answering very specific questions, and that became my comfort zone. So for me to get back to reading oracle cards and reading free flow out of my office, I thought getting myself out of my office would make it easier. It actually made it harder. But again, it's a challenge that's a good challenge. How can we get comfortable with something new if we keep doing it the old way? So where in your life do you have room to really get yourself out of your comfort zone? Definitely divine feminine energy here. There are masculine teachers here, but we got all divine feminine. Joan of Arc, Mother Mary, and Brigitte. So before I get in my head any even more, that is the messages that we have. Ecstasy. Let yourself be free. Let yourself fly. Let yourself... Also, it's a parrot, which parrots are a bird that talks. So another reminder to open up that throat chakra. It was the Six of Wands, not the Four of Wands. Six of Wands, victory with truth. So if you made it to the end of this very interesting, very uncomfortable reading for me, but hopefully, I'm going to make a commitment to myself and to you, the collective, to get out of my office, to get out of my comfort zone, to get out of my head and begin free-flowing readings again. That's really the way that I open up my throat chakra. That's why I became Rhiannon Rambles, is I would just do these readings and allow the information to come through. It's one of my strongest gifts is claircognizant, where I just channel the information. It's difficult for me to channel information this way if I'm just doing yes or no readings. So I think the whole aha moment for me is getting back to the basics of the way that I started reading in the first place. And okay, let's close this reading down. One last message to kind of bring this whole thing together. The dragon. Send dragons to heal the world. Dragons are scary, but mighty. And I don't know, maybe I've said it. My prediction for the year 2024 is that with all of the light, and we're going to be able to see new frequencies. Well, they're not new. We're going to be able to see frequencies and things that we weren't able to see before, because the only thing that, is the difference between the way a adult human sees and an infant baby sees is the amount of light that their eyes are able to process. Same with an animal. So the more light you're able to process, you're able to access things that have always been there, but you weren't able to see them. And dragons could be one of them. Dragons, mermaids, all these mythical creatures. It's not that they went away or that they're not real. It's that we weren't able to see them with what light we were able to access. As more light comes in, we are going to be seeing, and it may literally be a dragon, or like I said, mermaids, Sasquatch, who knows? But send dragons to heal the world. I am sending you all of the love. Thank you for your support. Thank you again, anybody that stayed this long. It was definitely unexpected, and it's going to take a lot of bravery for me to post this, because it's making me feel like a beginner again, but there is some excitement to that, right? There's something exciting about starting over fresh and letting go of all of the limiting habits that I put myself in and starting back with the basics. So I hope you guys have an amazing month, and thanks for being here. Love you. Bye. Ooh, my legs.